Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to debug an Foundry agent traces inside VS Code through an extension that I created. And so have you ever had an AI agent that you found yourself switching between VS Code and the browser? So the things that I was showing in my previous video regarding the Foundry agent, where you had your playground and there was a Python code, and then you were developing, and then you had to switch between the playground and if you're developing in VS Code. So that's the problem that this extension exactly solves, and how I will show you how to set it up, how to install it. It's super easy, and then you can see it all the traces, all the user view, and everything that you see in the Foundry traces tab. So let's get into it. Uh, so let me tell you what this agent actually gives you before we install it. So when you have agent runs and uh, you you have your trajectories, you have your user view, you have cost and token chart. So it connects to your Azure AI Foundry project and shows exactly what your agent did on every run, which tool it called, what it sent and received, and how many LLM turn cost, the duration, and even the dollar cost that the Foundry website doesn't show, the portal doesn't show, all in one in an interactive timeline inside the VS Code. And um, And then this is what uh, the VS Code extension looks like inside VS Code. And here is the you can look at it's fairly new, so I have just installed, like created it a week ago. So you won't find many views or installs, but still seven people found it. And then you can read the entire README and everything. You can uh, see and let's get into the VS Code, and I'll show you with the live example. Um, Let me share my VS Code. Second. So this is my VS Code. You can see the entire structure of my extension, what it looks like, and all the licensing, packaging. All of this, by the way, is available on my GitHub as well, which I will show at the end of this video, because I've open sourced this extension and I welcome all the bugs and features and pull requests that come and making this extension better. It will be a great help if people are installing it and using it. And and then do read the code of conduct and contributing MD files, as this will greatly ease my job in making your contributions take an effect over here. Uh, so without a further ado, let's get to how we can install this. Um, so you can see that uh, go to your extensions and search for Foundry Trace. And then this extension will open, uh, and then you can install it. And by the way, you can also visit the marketplace, and you can click install from here, and it should open a pop-up to install in your VS Code. And so go to install, it will quickly install, and the size of this is also in few KB, so it doesn't take a lot of space on your end, on the VS Code as well. So once it installs, the icon of the extension should appear over here. So I developed this, so there were already a lot of responses and conversations, but there are a couple of ways to set this up. So I will clear out my connection. You can disconnect. Nothing is stored on your computer. So when you're starting out fresh, it will show you the option to click to the configure your project. So you click on this. Let's close all of this. Click over here or click on this gear icon. And then there will be options to connect your project endpoint. So go to your Foundry tab. So let me just show all of that again. Okay, so this is your Foundry portal, and you should be able to get right to it by typing just the ai.azure.com and then go to your projects, and then it will bring you right to this page, and copy this project endpoint. That is your Azure OpenAI endpoint, but we don't need that. We need the project endpoint. So copy it and keep it at a safe place, and then you need your API key. So only these two keys are needed, and the API keys are not stored or sent to the third party. It is only stored in your uh, for connecting to the project and stored inside the VS Code secret storage. So it is stored in your local computer. It doesn't leave your computer except for connection to the Azure AI. So it's never shared or sent to any third party, and and the extension itself doesn't collect it or record it at all. Uh, so let's go back to VS Code. So enter your project endpoint, save it, and then it can connect your uh, and because this I have already run the easy login, but as soon as you enter your API key, it will load should load your extension, and then you might have to manually add the conversation by clicking on this plus icon. So you enter your conversation ID. So let me go back to VS Code. See, this is the switching I was talking about, that you constantly have to switch between your VS Code and your uh, micro, your Microsoft Foundry portal. So let's go to the build, and then let's copy one of the helpful agent, and then go to the traces tab, and go to one of the this is all the same conversation ID. So you just copy one of this and then go back to your VS Code, and then paste the conversation ID over here. So I still need to add the API key, which I did not add, but I will connect through, and then I will test the connection. Yeah. All right. So, and now I will add the conversation ID again. Yep. And then this is the same conversation ID, by the way, that I'm adding. So it doesn't need to, it won't load up. It just shows up the conversation ID over here. So it doesn't matter. All right. So let's first have a new, let's look at the conversation that we had. So this one, a new conversation. So let me go back to the Foundry portal and show you. So the traces, and so this was the conversation that we had last time, where I asked the AI agent about knowing the weather, and then I'm copying this conversation. All right, so let's go back. I've copied that conversation. Let's go back to my VS Code, and I will copy it, enter, refresh, connecting, and then you can see this conversation will start loading up. So you can see this E to E. This was the conversation that I was talking about. And right over here, uh, you can see the entire conversation loads up into the VS Code. It shows you the trajectory. You can see the duration. So this took 63 minutes, the entire conversation, which was little over a minute that we had. We can see the response. We can see what was the user chat, what kind of model it was using, what was the response ID, and then you can also see individual responses. So either you can press this or this plus icon, press enter, and then the response should automatically load over here. See, it takes a minute or two to connect, and you can see the output in your outputs tab, and then it shows you how many items it has loaded and what conversation that you are trying to view. So you can see the duration, you can see the status, you can see the input and output tokens. So this is a much clearer view where you can see the separation between input and output tokens for the invocation of the agent as well as the chat, and then the cost as well. So how much dollar cost this had spent. So very few dollar cost, less than even a cent. Uh, and then we should see how much it cost for the entire conversation. So this was just for this response, but we are looking at this E2E. Uh, so the entire conversation cost was also less than a cent. And then we should look at the tool execution because that's where it took the most amount of time. So let's see the duration. And then we can see it took 35 seconds. And then this part of the conversation, when I asked the question for the whole week, and when I was trying to get the information on weather on my city, and then it asked me which city you are at. So I think on the background, if we look at the tokens, then we saw that it took some analysis on knowing my city or automatically figuring out my city from the tools it had. It could not find anything, so it asked me a follow-up question that I should provide my city. And then once I provided that, which is the user was 194102, which is my local zip code, and then that was the tool it's executed. So this was the we can see which tool it was web search, and then it responded with the weather for this whole week. And then this one took a lot of tokens, which was around 7,000 tokens. And then when we look at the cost of this run, so let's go to this particular response and analyze it in more detail. So we'll copy the response ID. And by the way, we can also go to the uh, view trace in the user view, because if we don't want to look at the trajectories, so go here and click on view trace or look at the web search, and you can see exactly what tool was executed. So go to view trace, and then you can see a notification. So this was the response ID that it automatically loads up in the responses. And then you can see the response, you can see the session, you can click on the chat and see the cost, the dollar cost, the tokens, input and output. So input tokens were much more than the output, and this was the total dollar cost. And then obviously in the cost tab, you can see the entire cost of this one response. So it gives you a pretty granular view and without leaving VS Code. And as you were seeing, I was switching between VS Code and the Foundry portal. So when you are doing coding and developing your application, the Foundry traces tool, debugger or inspector, this uh, uh, extension that I've created comes in pretty handy. And that's about for this video. Um, and Let me go back to my slides to see if I have covered everything. Uh, so, so, um, so this covers for the episode 4, and we will, in the next one, we will look at some live debugging session on where we'll try to debug an agent. And yeah, that's about it. And I will show you quickly the GitHub repo as well, where you can see the uh, and contribute to the Foundry um, inspector. I will put the link in the description, but yeah, here it is. Here are all the branches, and then you can create an issue. You can look at this open source code, and yeah, feel free to give this video a like and subscribe.